Hi witches. So we're doing another installment of the Halloween series about different mythical creatures. But before I get started, I want to make an offer to everybody that watches the videos and that subscribes to my channel. I'm trying to grow my channel, and so I'm going to make an offer for everybody that is participating. So the offer is that I will hold a drawing next week. Anybody that likes this video, shares my channel on any of their social media platforms, and then puts in the comments below that they have shared my channel, and hopefully you subscribe to it, you don't have to, but that you have shared my channel, I will do a drawing for 3 people to receive candy ginger and cinnamon s'mores Rice Krispies treats. Now, for anybody that doesn't know me, every year at Christmas I send out treat boxes to all of my friends and family. I do have a culinary arts degree. I was second in command of the baking classroom when I was at school. Trust me, this stuff is good. It's going to be made fresh. It's going to be mailed out the same day that it is made. So you will get, you know, fresh, good stuff. So it's going to be for 3 people. This offer is good from today's date, which is 10/5/2018, until 10/11/2018. That's a Thursday, because on Friday's video, I'm going to put everybody's name in a jar or hat or whatever I have, and then I'm going to draw out 3 names. So like the video, share this on your social media platforms, and put it in the comments down below that you've done it, and I will write your name and put you in drawing. And obviously you're going to see that I've called your name in the drawing. So at that point, then send your information to me, salemwillow@yahoo.com. Okay, so now that's the offer that I've made. Now to get to the video. Now, obviously from the title you saw that we are talking about Djinns. Now what are Djinns? Well, Djinn, the word genie derived from Djinn. So now you get an idea of what we're talking about. We are talking about people that, or mythical creatures that are believed that can grant wishes and do all kinds of stuff. Let's get to a clarification here. Now, there's a lot of information on the web if you look up Djinn. Some information says that they are born of fire. Some say they are born of water. Some say they are from a different dimension altogether. No. They are human spirits. But they are powerful human spirits. They're not the run-of-the-mill. The youngest one I have actually come across was about 200 years old. And he was a half-caste. Now, what's a half-caste? Well, you hear about the caste system in India. Half-caste comes from British-occupied India. It means he was half Indian and half British. His father was British, his mother was Indian. Now, the caste system basically means that there's a system in place to keep people in their place. The rich stay rich, the poor stay poor, and they do not intermingle. In a way, it's kind of like Soviet Russia used to be. You were what you were, and you stayed what you were. So he was a half-caste, and he was a little on the angry side about it. And, you know, that can happen. There are some nice Djinns, and there are some not nice Djinns. Now, most of the ones that I have come across, they prefer to be the nice Djinns. However, that's not always the case, obviously. What are they and what can they do? Well, most of the Djinns that I have come across are from Middle Eastern countries. I have come across Egyptian. I have come across ones that are from countries so long ago that they are not called that now. Countries that are now occupied by present-day Iraq, present-day Iran. I mean, their names are, I wouldn't say they're lost to time because we do know the names, but they are not what they are called now. There's Persia, there is Egyptian, like I said, I've come across one from India. And I'm not sure if they become powerful on their own. They do not need somebody to raise them up to become powerful. And I'm not sure if that's because of their religion, because of what they taught, because of what they believe, because they know that they can reach this higher power on their own and that they do not need a god or saints or anybody else to raise them up to this power. And I think that has a lot to do with it because a lot of the Djinns that I have come across have been Muslim. I did have a Buddhist Djinn, which his story was pretty amazing. He had grown up, he was a cutthroat pirate. And we're not talking about, the Johnny Depp type. We're talking about, this is in the Middle East, along Egypt, along the Egyptian coast, in the Red Sea. They made port in India, and he came across a Buddhist temple that was having a festival, and there were all the colors and the flowers and everything, and he walked in, and he started talking to one of the monks there, and they were in port for a little while, maybe about a month or so, and during that time, he would visit the temple every single day, and he would talk to this monk, and just before the ship left, he decided he was going to give everything, all his ill-gotten gains, to the monastery and become a monk. And he lived the rest of his life as a Buddhist monk. Now, sometimes it's very hard to find a Buddhist spirit because they believe in the Enlightenment, but because of what he did in his past, he refuses to allow himself to be crossed over. So he decided he was going to stay on. He was going to do good work to help make up for what he did in the past. So it's some of their journeys, not only through life, but into the afterlife, are very interesting. A lot of the ones that I've come across are very ancient. They don't want to be crossed over. They want to do good deeds on this world. That's the majority of them. There are some that are just angry and they don't want to be used for good deeds. It happens. I mean, there are some days when I just am not going to do anything good to anybody, no matter what anybody says, and those are the days you better watch out for this witch. But it all depends on what you did with your life. Now, let's talk about what Djinns can do and what they cannot do. Now, this is where Disney got it right. They cannot raise people from the dead. They cannot make people fall in love with you. What they can do is they can start manifesting certain events to get you in the direction that you want to go. Do you get 3 wishes with them? Well, if you treat them right, you can get more than that, but just remember, these are not mythical creatures. They are not to be abused. These people are here to do good works, but they're not going to be taken advantage of, and they're not going to be taken for granted. They're not going to stand for that. So when you treat a Djinn with respect, that Djinn is going to work very, very hard for you. They're going to form an attachment to you. And they are just going to go out of their way to do everything to make sure you get what you need and you get where you should be. So let's talk about certain things that they can do correct. Okay. Say you're having just like some bad luck. It could be because there was some misconnection somewhere. You were supposed to be on this path, but somehow you got diverted for some reason. So you say to your Djinn, listen, I just had like shitty luck. Something is wrong. Can you fix this? Yes, they can fix it. They can start aligning certain events for you to increase your luck. Is it going to happen like that? No. They need time to get this done. But believe me, they will get this done. I'll give you, for instance, I have a couple of Djinns here that are pretty devoted to me. And I said to them, listen, things haven't been great. I need some help. I need you to, I need some money for some bills that are coming up. Can you help me do this? And as a witch, I actually energized them to do that specific task. So I gave them like an extra boost. And I go to my mailbox 5 days later, and there's a check for over $200, and I'm like, what is this for? And I see it says like pay department, and I'm like, oh, it's probably one of those stupid things from like a used car dealer that wants me to buy a car. And then I noticed that it was the return address was the Federal Trade Commission. I'm like, okay. So I do open it up and not throw it away, and there's the check in there for over $200, and there's a letter attached to it that said that they had sued some companies that I had used in the past, and I was deserving of a refund, and here it is. And I'm like, is this for real? And I checked it, checked reliable news sources, I checked the actual Federal Trade Commission, and it was true. It was my money refunded to me. And kind of blown away, but that is a prime example of what they can do for you if you treat them right and they like you. So bills got paid. money I didn't know I had coming to me, and there it was, and bills got paid. Do I think that they did it in the 5 days? No, because this has been a long, drawn-out process. But there have been times in the past when I've said, hey, I need some money coming. I need this. I need that. Maybe they sped it along. I don't know. And it could be a coincidence. But, there's a lot of things that happen around here that it's hard to chalk up to coincidence. Yes, Djinns can work for you. Now, I have Djinns that also have other powers. They can summon other types of spirits and entities. I have one that she can summon shadow people. And I have had her do that, and I have sent them to people who have crossed me. I'm not exactly a white witch, if you can't tell, but there are Djinns that can bring other people, bring other spirits. They can also bring other things as well. Because Djinns are powerful, they are great protectors as well. Are they guardians? No, they're not guardians in the sense, and I'll talk about that in a different video. What they can do is they can hold certain things at bay. Now, if somebody is trying to break into your house, sometimes they can, depending on how powerful that Djinn is, they can either scare them off or they can do something or wake you up. I find my Djinns to be amazing. And I do my best to treat them right, and they do take care of me. But the information that you see online, that they're this and they're that, and that's another thing I want to talk about, that you bond your Djinns to you. Now, some people say that's the only way to ensure that a Djinn stays yours. The way I view it, and I have over 200 spirits here, the way I view it is that if you bond somebody to you, you're making them a slave. And why would they go above and beyond for you if they're your slave? I don't bond any of my Djinns to me. I never will. I give them the freedom to say if they want to stay or if they want to go. I also give them the freedom to deny my request. If something makes them uncomfortable, I ask them, listen, do you feel comfortable doing this on my behalf? And if they tell me no, that's fine. I'll ask one of my other Djinns. If they tell me no, then I will go to some of my other spirits who practice Wicca or were druids or were wizards or something like that. And they're usually a little less squeamish about doing certain things, but they are not as powerful and as quick as my Djinns. So I do like to get my Djinns to do things first. However, I do give them the right to tell me no. Giving them that right to come and go as they please and to tell me that they do not wish to do something, in my belief, actually makes them work harder when I ask them to do something that they do have no problem doing for me, such as, you know, bringing in some money so I can pay my bills. So that is, I think that pretty much covers everything that I know about Djinns and what they're like and what to expect from them. People are free to believe their own things about it if they truly believe that the Djinn is born of fire or water, they're from another universe, they walk the night, they stick to shadows, whatever. From the Djinns that I have, that is not the case that I've come. And I've actually come across many. I had somebody that I knew that needed help to get back on course, and I asked one of my spirit guides, I'm like, listen, you know, you've been around a long time. He's actually from ancient Egypt. I said, you know, you must have come across some Djinn spirits in your time. And he says, yes. I said, do you know of trustworthy Djinns that you can bring here? And he's like, oh, yeah, you know. I'm like, you know, they're safe and they're trustworthy. He says, yeah, I can bring them. And he actually brought me 13 Djinns. Some of them have gone up for sale. Some of them I still haven't gotten to. I still have to, you know, talk with them and then bond them with whatever vessel they choose and then put them up for sale on my eBay shop. So if you watch this video and you're like, oh, well, you know, maybe I would like a Djinn, maybe I need a Djinn, just keep your eye on my eBay store, and I will put the link to that down there in the description box. Just keep your eye peeled for Djinns. I love my Djinns. They do so much for me. And it's a very simple thing to do, to thank your Djinn for what they do for you. They may have a certain scent that they like flowers or like one of my Djinns, they love lavender. So I have dried lavender and I just put lavender around their vessel, or like I give them a sachet of lavender. You could give them little trinkets, like say maybe you lost an earring and you have one earring left, and you say, hey, would you like this little earring? Just put it with their vessel, you know? You give them gifts for what they give to you. And when you give gifts to spirit, any spirit, it means so much to them because they literally have nothing. They don't even have a body anymore. And for people that can't hear spirits, they don't even have a voice. But when you, especially if you take something of yours and say, you know what, I want you to have this if you want it. I want to give this to you. This is your possession and no one else can have this. That means so much to them because they literally have nothing, and you have given them something that is personal to you, or have done something for them, and it means so much to them. And I've had spirits get very emotional over it, because you know, you don't think about giving something to a spirit, or, you know, putting something on a doll or whatever. You don't think about that. But at the end of the day, all of these spirits, they're human. They still have their feelings. They still have their thoughts. And when you do something nice for them, they still feel it. And it makes a huge, huge difference to them. So I do try to do certain things. You know, when the check came in, I'm like, all right, you know, hey, let's like burn some incense and you know, what do you want? You know, some wanted a scent over here and some wanted a scent over here. So I had a burner going in that room, incense going in this room. So I do try to accommodate them as much as I can. It may seem like just a little thing, but the little things add up with them, and they don't forget that. So keep that in mind, and if you have any other questions about Djinns, of course you can always contact me at my email, salemwillow@yahoo.com. You could always leave a comment under the video if you think maybe it's something that a bunch of people may be wondering about the same thing, and I will be happy to answer it there. And do not forget the offer going on until October 11th of 2018. Like the video, share my channel on your social media platform, and make a comment in the box below that you have done it. And I will draw your name to get free goodies. So that is it for me. I'm not sure exactly what subject I will tackle next week. I don't know if it will be nymphs. Nymphs isn't a very long... I don't really know too much about nymphs. I don't know if it'll be nymphs. I don't know if it'll be guardians. Although they're not really a mythical creature, so that really kind of doesn't fall into the Halloween perspective. So I guess maybe I'll just like talk to... Oh, I could talk about witches. I mean, you know, a lot of people talk about witches, but I actually do have two of the victims of the Salem witch trials here with me, and they like it here with me because there are certain wards that I put not only on my dolls but around my house and on all the jewelry that they can attach to, and so they can't be summoned away unless they want to go. So being here with me, they're saved, especially from this time of year, being summoned up on a Ouija board to ask questions about themselves and such. So they prefer to stay with me. So I do have two of the victims of the Salem witch trials. And I might touch on the subject of witches, and maybe I might even be persuaded to have them step forward and talk. And not just about the last few days of their life. talk about their lives and themselves and not just court transcripts. So that's another thing too. If you have any questions, I have both Sarah Bishop and Sarah Good here. I'm sorry, not Sarah Bishop, Bridget Bishop and Sarah Good. Those are the two spirits that are here with me. So if you have any questions for Sarah Good and Bridget Bishop, that's another thing too. Leave that in the comment boxes down below or email me the questions. And if they are willing to speak, then I will have them on the next video. I think that would be another good video to do. So I think next week I will do witches, and I will see if the ladies will come up and talk a bit. And if you have any questions for Sarah Good or Bridget Bishop, leave them down below. So that's it for now. Don't forget the contest. Well, I should say the drawing. And I will see you next time. Bye, witches.